3, 2, 1. Liberty Hangout.
What's going on, guys? This is Justin from libertyhangout.org. We are live at CPAC 2016. I'm here today speaking with
Santiago
and Constantine.
Where are you guys from?
Texas.
I'm from Pittsburgh. We both go to Denison University.
Granville, Ohio.
Yeah.
What brings you out to CPAC this year?
I like to see, some of the world's most powerful leaders that are also conservative and share the same values and beliefs as me.
Right, we're with our College Republicans Club, and it's a good opportunity to kind of see like-minded people, talk with them, see some interesting speakers, meet some interesting people, network, and kind of enhance our conservative platform and hopefully, help activism here and go to 2016. Hopefully we can win. So
I know that a large part of the conservative platform is freedom. Would you say you guys support freedom?
100%.
Absolutely.
What does freedom mean to you?
It means a lot of things.
How would you define it if you had to put a definition on freedom?
I would say that freedom is something we take for granted, and it is the fact that we can go to sleep at night safe and sound and know that we wake up in the morning and our house will still be there. There won't be like a bombardment in the city, which comes down to national security and the right to bear arms, which many other countries do not have.
How would you define freedom?
Yeah, I think he's right about that, but I think it's also freedom, take personal responsibility. You have freedom from government, less government involvement in people's lives, and there's economic affairs, let things be, let things grow, and then obviously what you said about national security, and we see like a rise of all sorts of terrorism now, and these are times that we really need to harken back on those ideals to make sure we stand up for them.
Okay, so it sounds like some contentious issues for you in the 2016 presidential election would be foreign policy.
Would be.
Yeah, foreign policy, I would say the last few years definitely got more on the forefront. It's definitely playing a bigger role, I think, in this election than in years past.
So would you say that the United States government needs to ramp up their efforts in the Middle East?
Yes.
I would say ramp up, but we need to make sure we're being very cautious, and we can't go starting wars that we can't, that are going to be in a quagmire. So
I'd like to add that I believe in the same thing that Governor Kasich believes, that we should go annihilate ISIS, but we're not the world police. We have no reason to stay there after we finish our job.
Right, no, I agree there. So you say freedom is basically to be left alone from the government. Now, when it comes to the issue of war and all these interventions or any other government policies, what if I don't want to pay for it?
Maybe you might be in the wrong party then.
Should I be forced to pay for things that I don't want my dollars to go towards?
I don't think you should. Nevertheless, you will. And I personally vote Republican because I do believe in high military budgets and, defending national security.
Well, that's why we have a democracy. That's why we have debate, so we can kind of decide these things. We have more libertarian candidates like Rand Paul. He ended up losing out. He's not winning. So I think definitely our conservative platform should be limited government at home and a government strong enough to protect us abroad and make sure United States interests are being protected and that America, comes first and our citizens are protected and we're able to maintain our hegemony as a world power.
Okay. So if we are to say that forcing people to pay for things, would you agree that forcing people to pay for things that they may not want to pay for, would you say that's an immoral act?
I know where you're coming from, but I guess I want to ask you then, what do you suggest? I'm not a politician. I'm just a college student. That's the way that things been forever. I guess, if you want to, come down to, questionnaires and ask people, what do you want to pay for? Then I guess you would, not make a democracy anymore. It'd be more like, democracy on a per capita basis.
Would you agree that society functions better when we act on a voluntary basis?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, I think that, I think civil society handles charity a lot better than the government. Oh, sorry, I will say that. But going on about things we don't want to pay for, well, that's why we have elections. That's why, there's some things we do have to pay for. The military needs to be taken care of. And, we have a constitutional, it is a constitutional part of that Article 1, we pay taxes for that. So And we have debates, we have elections for those reasons. So I wouldn't say it's immoral to be forced to pay for something if you're saying it's coming from your taxes. Now, an Obamacare mandate, maybe, but something, you know.
So
Planned Parenthood. Or Planned Parenthood.
So I think you can kind of relate to me here, because when it comes to Obamacare, that's something that you don't want to be forced to pay for. And so that's why democracy, you know, Aristotle actually said that democracy is the worst form of government because that's a tyranny of the majority.
I don't know what to say.
Well, yeah, Aristotle didn't like it because in ancient Greece, right, we had these people that it was just kind of mass democracy, direct democracy. What he was referring to, I agree, was not a very good form of government. We need to have some more elite role in government. That's why we have our indirect democracy. We have a Republican system, so I would agree with that.
Okay. So now I know that you guys mentioned that having a well-funded military is of great importance to you. Were you aware that a number of the founding fathers were against a standing army because they understood that to have a standing army, you would need this tax base. And the tax base is oftentimes, as we see, involuntary. And so while we're under the perception that having this military-industrial complex is to protect the individual, if there is that tax base, at the end of the day, are we protected? Because are they giving us the option to voluntarily remove our dollars?
See, here's the thing. We're not given the opportunity to voluntarily remove our dollars, but how can I, as basically a government politician, how can I make sure that you're protected and you're not, since you paid and he didn't?
Free market.
What do you mean free market?
Does the free market not answer to their consumers?
Absolutely not. It's not like, the terrorists are going to be like, oh, let me attack him because he didn't pay, and let me not attack him because he did pay. Let me place a Marine at this house and make sure he takes care of the house.
All right, just to go, are you guys well-rounded in economics?
I'm an economics major, but you're not making sense of your free market.
I mean, I'm poli-sci. I'd like to think I know a little bit, but I mean, I would fall back onto they do have a choice. We have elections. You can vote for candidates, who want to slash the military budget. That doesn't tend to win out, but your views are still represented collectively. Even if you don't want to pay for it, you're still being represented because ultimately this is a democracy. This is representative democracy. There is some sense of we have to do what is best for the majority, what the majority wants.
Okay, so going to the economics here, you guys are students, correct? So let's say you're a student and you're in a class and your professor is someone who's going to easily hand out A's regardless of whether you actually show up and do the assignments or take any tests. If that's the case, do you have any incentive to put in an effort to make a quality product?
I do. I mean, I'm paying $57,000 to go to college. So even if I'm going to get a free A, I want to learn something. Because, learning is valuable no matter how dumb or how controversial it might be. Someday, someplace, it will be valuable.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have less incentive to work, but I mean, if you have a great pride in yourself like Santiago does, then you're still going to put forth the work. But obviously, yes, you would definitely have less incentive if you know you're going to get an A. I mean, that's just human nature.
So and when it comes to government, since they have this steady stream of revenue into their pockets through way of taxation, it's always coming in. It's not like the market where you have the voluntary removal of dollars. Where does government have the incentive to provide a quality service in terms of defense, courts, and roads?
I don't know. You go with that.
Because if they don't do their job, they're going to lose. So if we're unhappy, like a lot of people are unhappy right now, a lot of establishment politicians, a lot of the people, in the House, in the Senate, are going to lose their jobs.
I think you're a libertarian and you don't realize it yet, because the answer you just gave me, we can see it perfectly emanated through the market. You're advocating a voluntary action here, just through a very bureaucratic way.
I'm definitely, I agree with a lot of libertarians on economic issues and some social issues. I think I do. Foreign policy is where I think I have my disagreement with libertarians. And I know you quoted some of the founding fathers back in the day, back in 1789, who didn't think we should have a standing army. But I think if they would see the world today, they would realize that they were a little bit off on that assessment.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Who do you guys plan on voting for in the election this year?
Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
Oh man, we got some Rubio supporters here. Thank you. Best of luck, gentlemen.
Thank you for the interview.
It's a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you share if you like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content. And check out libertyhangout.org for some awesome liberty-minded material from a great lineup of writers.